Here's the thing about crushes on celebrities.
They're safe. Keanu Reeves can't reject me. Keanu Reeves will never see me eat an entire sleeve of Oreos for lunch while crying over a spreadsheet error. Keanu Reeves exists in a benevolent parallel universe where he's probably rescuing a puppy and looking philosophical, and I exist in a fluorescent hellscape where my office chair makes a sound like a dying goose every time I shift my weight.
So when I wrote him, Keanu, a love letter, it wasn't because I thought he'd ever read it. It was because I just watched The Lake House for the 5th time that month, and I had feelings. Big, stupid, embarrassing feelings about a man who plays bass guitar with his soul and somehow still looks like he remembers what it was like to use a flip phone. I sealed the letter in a plain white envelope. On the front, I wrote, "For Keanu," in my neatest handwriting. Then I stuffed it into my bag and planned to either burn it later or keep it in a shoebox under my bed forever, depending on how much self-respect I had that evening. But here's the problem with being a shy, anxious disaster of a human being. My office, a mid-tier marketing firm called Bright Path Solutions, had decided to do a secret Valentine exchange. The box was red and heart-shaped and looked like something a third grader would make. The instructions were simple. Write an anonymous note to a coworker, drop it in the box, get a note back. I'd ignored it completely because my social battery is roughly the size of a AAA battery that's already been used in a TV remote for 6 months. Except, on February 12th, I was walking past the break room, bag unzipped like the traitor it is, and my Keanu letter just fell out. I watched it tumble in slow motion. It landed directly inside the heart-shaped box. I heard the soft thump of it hitting the bottom.
"No," I whispered. Then louder, "No!"
Too late. The box was sealed with a piece of tape that said, "Do not open until 2 p.m. I stood there for a full 30 seconds, calculating the odds of someone opening it early, reading it, and reporting me to HR for being unhinged. Statistically low, I told myself. Emotionally, catastrophic. At 2 p.m., I didn't go to the exchange. I hid in my cubicle and pretended to be on a very important call. My leg bounced so hard my monitor shook. The next morning, I found a sticky note on my keyboard. "Whoever you are, this letter is the kindest thing anyone has ever left for me. I don't know if you meant to send it, but thank you." It was written in small, neat block letters. No name, no department. I stared at it for 7 minutes. Then I wrote back on a fresh sticky note, because I am a coward in real life, but apparently a reckless fool when hiding behind anonymous paper. "You were supposed to be Keanu Reeves. You are not Keanu Reeves, are you? I'm so sorry. I'm also sorry I eat Oreos for lunch. Please don't tell anyone about the letter. I'll die." I put the sticky note on the same keyboard and ran away like a man being chased by bees. The reply came the next day. New sticky note, same block handwriting. "I'm not Keanu Reeves, no. My name is Sam. I work in IT. The basement. No one comes down here except the spiders and one very persistent fern." The letter was beautiful. Who were you writing it for? I should have stopped. I should have thrown myself into the nearest industrial shredder and never looked back. Instead, I wrote, "An actor. A very nice, unattainable actor. He'll never read it. But you did, which is somehow worse and also better. I don't know. I'm bad at feelings. I'm basically a human anxiety disorder in a cardigan." Sam's reply, 2 hours later. "The cardigan explains a lot. I have 3 plants in my office. The fern is named Gerald. He's dramatic. If you don't water him exactly at 8 a.m., he droops like he's auditioning for a tragedy. What's your favorite thing about the actor?" And just like that, we were having a conversation. A real one. No faces, no names. Well, his name was Sam, but that felt fake. Too normal.
too solid. No awkward eye contact. Just two people leaving sticky notes on a keyboard in a dark office after hours. I told him about Keanu, about how he seemed kind, not just hot, about how he'd been through terrible things and still showed up to work with his whole heart, about how I'd never told anyone that, because it sounded pathetic.
Sam wrote back, "It's not pathetic to want someone steady, someone who's been through the storm and didn't turn bitter. I think that's just called having a pulse." I laughed so hard at my desk that Karen from accounting looked over. I pretended to cough. Over the next 2 weeks, the notes multiplied. They appeared on my keyboard every morning like little gifts. Sam talked about his plants, Gerald the fern, Beatrice the succulent, and a new rescue named Sir Droops-a-lot. He talked about how no one in the office knew his name, how they called him IT, or the basement guy, how he'd once fixed Karen's printer and she'd thanked him by complaining that he took too long. I talked about my anxiety, about the way my heart races when I have to speak in meetings, about how I hide in the bathroom sometimes just to breathe, about how I'd never been in love with a real person because real people see you, and what if they didn't like what they saw? Sam's reply to that one was just a single sentence. "I already like what I see, and I haven't even seen you." That was the moment I knew I was in trouble. We started leaving longer notes, whole paragraphs on multiple sticky notes, arranged in a grid. Sam had the handwriting of a serial killer, tiny and controlled, but the soul of a poet. He wrote about loneliness like he'd invented it. He wrote about wanting to be noticed, the way Gerald the fern noticed sunlight. I wrote about wanting to be brave, about how every day I walked past the stairs to the basement and imagined going down there, about how I never did. On the 25th sticky note, Sam wrote, "Meet me. No pressure. Just coffee. The break room, 6 p.m. tomorrow. I'll wear a gray hoodie. You'll know it's me because I'll be the one who looks like he hasn't seen the sun since 2019.
My hands shook. I wrote back, "What if I throw up on your shoes?" "I'll bring extra napkins." I showed up at 5:58 p.m. The office was empty. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead like they were judging me. I'd worn my least anxious cardigan, the navy one with the elbow patches, and I'd brushed my hair twice. My heart was doing that thing where it tried to escape through my throat. I walked to the break room. There he was. Gray hoodie, shoulders slightly hunched, dark hair that curled over his ears. He was leaning against the counter, holding 2 paper cups of coffee. And when he looked up, his eyes were the kind of brown that makes you think of soil after rain. Rich, quiet, warm. He wasn't Keanu Reeves. He was better. He was real. "Hi," I said. My voice cracked.
"Hi," he said. His voice was low and steady. It sounded exactly like his sticky notes felt. "I'm the one who wrote the Keanu letter," I said, because apparently I'd left my filter in my other cardigan. Sam smiled. It was a small smile, the kind that starts in the eyes first. I figured. You have the same handwriting as the Oreos for lunch note. "Oh, God. I saved that one," he said. "It's in my desk, next to Gerald." I laughed. It came out wet and hysterical. "I'm so sorry. I'm not usually like this. I mean, I am usually like this, but I'm trying very hard to pretend I'm not." Sam handed me a coffee. His fingers didn't touch mine, but they came close. "You don't have to pretend," he said. "I read 27 sticky notes from you. You're anxious, and you talk too much when you're scared, and you think Keanu Reeves represents emotional stability, which is honestly a little concerning, but also very sweet." "That's accurate," I admitted. "Good, because I'm quiet, and I name my plants, and I haven't had a real conversation with anyone in this building in 3 years." He tilted his head. "Until you." We stood there for a moment. The coffee was warm in my hands.
The fluorescent lights were still terrible, but somehow they felt less harsh. Sam looked at me like I was something he'd been waiting for. Not a celebrity, not a fantasy, just a person in a cardigan, holding bad break room coffee. "So," I said, "do you want to go downstairs and meet Gerald?" Sam's smile got bigger. "I thought you'd never ask." We walked to the basement together. His shoulder brushed mine once, twice. He didn't apologize. Neither did I. And here's the thing about love, I guess. Sometimes you aim for Keanu Reeves, and you end up in a basement with a guy who waters a dramatic fern. Sometimes you write a letter you never meant to send, and it lands exactly where it was supposed to land. Gerald was very droopy, by the way. Sam had forgotten to water him that morning. I watched him do it, carefully, gently, like it mattered. And I thought, oh, there you are. My heart didn't race. It just settled. Steady.